fights, okay? You got to keep that balance. You got to keep, some power on the right foot, and then when you punch, you're gonna transfer that weight from the back foot to the front foot. That way you can knock out your opponent without losing your footing. Hello and welcome back to the Croak and Crow podcast, episode number
16.
16. Sweet 16. I'm Spencer.
I'm Verona, but you can call me V, Vo, or Ro.
That's a lot of aliases. But you know what we do here. We talk about religion. We talk about spirituality. We talk about just being a darn good person. The best darn good person a person can be.
Yep.
And today, you want to know what we're talking about? I would tell you what we're talking about, but I don't know what we're talking about.
Okay. You told me not to touch the table, but... Oops. What was I trying to do?
We're talking about balance. I can see right through that little your little magic toad trick. Is that what we're talking about?
Balance.
We're talking about balance. Balance in a day, balance in a diet. Balance when you're on a beam.
Balance your checkbook.
Balance your checkbook. I think we've exhausted all of the uses of balance. Okay. And why did you pick balance?
I picked balance because I was out of balance today.
Ooh.
It was
out of sync. Your chakras weren't aligned.
Yeah. It was too much racing and not enough reaching. So I just said, girl, you got to get balanced.
You got to get balanced. Mentally, physically, emotionally. I like it.
Okay.
I like the topic. And let me tell you, I'm going to start with talking to you guys about a balanced diet. Before we get into spirituality, before we get into your day planning.
Feed the body, then feed the soul.
Here's the importance of a balanced diet, okay? I know what you're thinking. Spencer, don't talk to me about a balanced diet. I want to eat gummy bears all day. I want to eat Cheetos and Fritos and extra cheddar blasted goldfish. Well, let me tell you, all of those things are good. They're great. Have them. But you don't want that to be your only diet. You don't want that. You don't want breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You have extra cheddar blasted goldfish. You want to have balance for your body, for your mind, for your soul. And equally to say, it's unbalanced to eat just goldfish all day. I think it's also equivalently a little unbalanced to not allow yourself to have anything good, right? Like,
right.
It's unbalanced to only eat
the other way.
Meat and potatoes, and it's like you don't have any of your deep cravings, and I think it's important to have that balance. And so that's what I think is so important about balance in diet, is to care about your body, but also care about your mind and your cravings. That's part of your body, right? People always think, I want this, but my body wants this. Is like, well, shouldn't you give your mind a little bit of something to keep it motivated, keep it going? It's like, why are you limiting yourself?
Yeah.
If your mind wants it, that's almost as good as your body wanting it.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's a balanced diet.
That's a balanced diet.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
Well, how about you talk about a balanced life?
A balanced life?
I took the easy one. I'm going to leave you with the hard one.
Oh, balanced life. Okay. Well, a balanced life is just a balanced diet on a bigger scale. It's instead of, the gummy bears, we're going to say that's maybe all the entertainment in your life. Mm-hmm. And so... like video games. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with video games.
Right.
But you don't want to be playing video games for 24 hours a day.
Right.
Not getting anything done.
You have to sow the seeds to reap the harvest. And so if you balance work and play, outdoors and indoors.
Rest. Talked about that in the podcast.
Activity. Our frog here is too small to see on the camera, but he has a yin yang on his head. And that's balance, right?
It's balance.
Keeping the balance.
Yeah.
And we talked yesterday, I think, about no, yesterday was exercise, but the day we talked about
exercise. Give me the exercise lights.
And I'm sure we'll talk about it again. Just always balance. Balance even balance of people that you interact with. You know,
Yeah.
if people say, you know, the best friends or the best people that you know, like too much of them, they start to get on your nerves, you know?
Yeah.
So if you balance things, then you avoid troubles. So I could say that. I also, when I think of balance, I think of, I think it's Proverbs, and it talks about like very, very bad if a merchant tricks you with his weights and balances. You know, we still have that today. L&I, license and inspection, is they literally measure. You can't say you're selling so much of something if you're not, you know. You have to be fair.
Yeah.
And so the balance has to be accurately reading what you're giving.
Yeah.
And you just want to balance everything.
You want to balance everything. Yeah, I think we said it in an earlier podcast of just you don't want sort of these highs and lows like of motivation or anything, because it's so easy to burn out. And so you don't want to be on this, you know, yo-yo. You want to be in the middle. Like, although those highs are good, it means that you're going to have the opposite. And so I think there's so many things where balance, it's important just because it sort of coincides with consistency and things that you can continue long term. Like, if you want to do something long term, you need to find out how. Like, say you just want to add in something to your day, maybe Bible reading or something. If you don't find that balance of how you weigh your day out, and you just one day, I'm gonna do all this Bible reading, then you're not gonna do that forever. It's right. But if you find this balance of your time, then you can consistently do things. And I think that's so important just on a day-to-day basis of sort of finding this balance. And also, because it's just so easy to burn out in anything.
Yeah, anything, yeah.
And so if you try to be this most religious person and Zen and your chakras are aligned, and it's very easy to not be able to do that long term.
Right.
But if you give yourself that balance, okay, you want to be woke, you want your third eye to be open, yada yada, that's fine. But try to have balance to make you still like do some earthly things like that you find enjoyment in. Get that balance.
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to do both longer term.
Right. And what goes along with balance, which is helpful, is awareness. Because sometimes we become unbalanced because we weren't aware. Yeah. You know, I'll say like, oh, like my cheek is sore or something. And then I'll say, whoa, like I was eating so much candy, I didn't even realize it. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And that could go with anything, you know, balance. You could be on so much screen time. You stand up, your legs are hurting. It's like, so if you're trying to be balanced, or your goal is to be balanced, or have a balanced day, or have a balanced diet, or have a balanced relationship, you're going to be aware. Yeah. Yeah. I think how much time.
Yeah, definitely. I think that last podcast I said about this, just so many people just cruise by on autopilot. Right. And it's so easy for you to fall out of balance because you're just letting things happen. But like, I think it's important to take control and create that balance in your life. And that way, you know, say your job never becomes too stressful in your life because you've learned to balance, you know, your work with your at home and getting enough sleep. Like, it takes effort it's literally just like an accountant balancing books. Like, right. It's not just, he doesn't just sit there and is like, oh, well, it'll balance. I mean, no, he needs to, he might, but then you're going to be in trouble. Don't use him too much. When tax season comes around, you're in trouble. But you need to actively, balance doesn't just happen, you know? It's on a physical scale. When you see a gymnast at the Olympics on that balance beam, you think that just happened? No, she put a lot of work into getting that physical balance.
Look at a baby.
Learning
how to walk.
Dumb baby. Doesn't even know how to walk. Has to learn.
And down. Up and down, you know?
Everyone should strive to have that same persistency like babies. Yeah. Learn to walk.
Because they're a baby, so they do anything not everything you tell them to do, but like when you think, I always think about it actually, the way we walk and stand and then do even more things.
Like jump.
Pirouette, ice skate,
Yeah.
But if, the baby's not thinking, like the bumblebee flies, even though his body is bigger than his wings.
Yeah.
The baby's not thinking, okay, take this little fire plug body, usually a baby has, and just come up on two legs and balance. Mm-hmm. And you're going to walk forwards and backwards and you're going to catch a ball. They just, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And,
just do it.
And they do it. And but it's all balance. And,
it's all about balance. And it's just the same. Yeah. So just reeling it back in. It takes effort to have a fully, it's very few people I feel like have a truly balanced life. I think you're always striving just to have a more balanced days, more balanced life, more physical balance, but it takes a lot of work, and it's always just, it needs to be a constant thing of, sort of like, it's like maybe we're dictating where your time's going, like, I'm not, maybe if you are moved across the state from your family, and you realize, I'm not calling home enough.
Right.
You sort of able to fit that into your schedule, fit that in your life, or just, oh wow, I haven't prayed in a while. I haven't gone to church.
Yeah.
And if you want that, and if you want that in your life, you need to sort of find this this balance and put work into it, because nothing's better than going through a day that's just truly balanced and you hit all cylinders. You go to sleep not worrying about anything because you checked off all your boxes. And the goal is to just have as many of those days as you can.
Yeah. And I always promote quietness and stillness.
Yeah.
Because if you get quiet with yourself, or if you can pick up on the little differences about yourself, it's like, what should I eat? Yes, somebody. What would be healthy for me to eat? Or what would be... If you get in touch with yourself, you will crave, like, I'm craving this. Yeah. I'm craving sunflower seeds. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And it turns out your body needed it.
Yeah.
It had to balance the acid or the alkaline. And same thing with what's going on. You said, like, wait, like I haven't seen my mother or something. Mother. If you don't have to write it down, or someone doesn't have to tell you, but if you get in touch with yourself, and if you get like aware of, like you just said, you would feel better. Like, what is making me feel not right? And it's like, wait, I haven't been outside in a long time.
Yeah.
The answers are all inside in you, not in a book.
Yeah. Exactly. And that sort of thing. I know there's always these times where it's like, I'll be feeling angsty, and then I have to like retroactively be like, I don't know why I thought I was, and then it's like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's important to do these self-reflections, and then, like I said, just try to work on it. Like, there's so many things that are in our power to balance our books, our spiritual bodily books.
Yeah.
And you should just always be working on that. Like if you realize that you're giving too much of your time to work and working overtime, and then your marriage is messing up, like, you need to work to find a better balance, because like I said, nothing, if you want to see, like, when you see these randomly, like, an older person who's just truly happy, usually it's because they'll tell you, it's like, I kept a very well balanced life.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I put my time in at work, I put my time in at home. It's all work, and when you do it, when you get that balance, that's where peace comes.
Remember those commercials of a well-balanced breakfast?
Yeah.
I never understood the orange juice with the bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
They would have cereal, orange juice, toast.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a well-balanced breakfast. Sorry.
No, that's true. Because doesn't milk make
the acid?
Or doesn't what's it called?
The juice curdle.
Yeah. Citrus.
Yeah.
Curdle.
It
milk.
Doesn't go together. But anyway, that's when you're trying too hard, I guess.
Too much. Yeah. Well, that's another thing. A lot of people.
It looks good on paper.
No, a lot of people like to overextend themselves, and I think that is one of the leading causes of losing balance. There is only 24 hours in the day. There's only 7 days in the week.
This is the information you come to this podcast for.
Wait, next episode I'll tell you how many days there are in a year.
But we don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
So this is what we're giving out today.
Right now I'm just telling you the simple things will work from there.
I follow. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was in the middle of
I didn't know
talking.
that. I thought you were just giving us updates on.
No, I was.
Okay, good.
Okay, there's 60 minutes in an hour.
It's been 13 seconds.
There's 24 hours in a day. There's 7 days in a week. Treat balance in your life like a balanced budget, okay? Don't go over budget.
Good one.
Don't go over budget. You want to use the budget, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to lose that money, you know, if you're a corporation and you get maybe like allowances or loans every year. You want to use it, but you don't want to overuse it because then you're in debt. Same thing with your life. Push yourself. Use every last dollar of your budget. We're all given an internal budget. But yeah, I think that so many people, they go over and then that's when it throws the balance off once again, and then they're in internal debt.
Yes.
You don't want to be in internal debt.
No.
Bad.
Bad. I follow surfers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I follow this one girl in particular from Hawaii.
Surfers have great balance.
That's what I'm thinking. Like when you're talking, this girl, it looks like she dances on the surfboard because she goes forward
to the
back
like
and forward to the back, and she's doing it to keep herself balanced. And that's a physical, representation of what we're all doing all the time. And I think of it with, we had a podcast about evangelism and whatever you want to call it, but like sharing the word of God. I kind of feel like her on that surfboard where sometimes you go forward to talk to somebody, not physically, but you throw something out there and then you get a pushback, that's when you want to dance back on the surfboard because you don't want to be the person who you're not leaving here until you agree with me about Jesus,
Yeah.
You gotta be balanced.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think basically everything's a balance, and it's all about finding the balance in any aspect of life. Whether it be a relationship or whatever, you need to find sort of balances in things, and it's like the yin and the yang. You have, and I think why I like this podcast is because me, I'm always talking about opposites, and I'm like, the reason there's everything is the opposite.
Right.
But truly, there is this middle line that you're not on, you're not in the Sahara and you're not in Antarctica. You're in the nice 75-degree meadows. And I think so much of it is this, like you're teetering. You're teetering on two sides of things, in a relationship. You don't want to be too not invested and you don't want to be overbearing. You want to find this balance in that's all I know. At the gym.
No, sorry, I was literally picturing a seesaw.
Yeah.
And to play on the seesaw, you do want to do this.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that part where if you have equally weighted people, you can
You're
just
floating on air. At the gym. You don't want to push yourself too hard, you'll hurt yourself. You don't want to not push yourself enough. You'll not do anything. Everything. Literally, I could just go on and brainstorm and think of anything, but balance is always key. And it's not always easy to find balances for things,
No.
It's tough in a lot of aspects.
Some people don't let you sometimes.
Yeah.
They are obstacles to your balance.
Mm-hmm. And so it is important to balance.
In the comments, tell me if you say seesaw or teeter-totter.
Teeter-totter.
Some people call it a teeter-totter.
Teeter-totter.
Remember in The Office, he said, "Did you seesaw?" And he said, "Yeah. I used to seesaw with my cousin."
Yeah. There's another word that like people. I saw a thing and I was like, "What do you call this?" And I'm like, "People call it anything differently?" I think it was
There's a few like that.
Yeah, I think it was a roly-poly.
Oh, the bug.
Yeah, and people called it like a pill bug and stuff. But like normally with these things, I'm like, I'm over it. Like, oh, we call it different things. But like, this was one time where I felt stupid for the way I call it. 'Cause I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm still always going to call it roly-poly, but how childish.
Right,
Obviously, it does have a name.
Right.
It's a roly-poly.
Yeah, it's more describing what it's doing.
Not even. It's like, what... Oh.
Well, yeah, what's a pulley? I don't know.
Balance.
There we go. Balance. Jesus was very balanced. He was like that surfer because he had a mission and he had the power and he was going forward.
Yeah.
But then he would always, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, you want us to leave. Okay, you're going to arrest me. Okay, and the apostles weren't as balanced and they were confused a lot of times, and Jesus would, gas and brake.
Yeah, he was very balanced. Like, it would, like, and I think that's like a lot of where his parables came from, where like his disciples would want him to get mad at somebody,
right,
or to people would want him to perform a miracle.
Yeah,
but he was always just going this steady path, and then he would just give you a parable instead. And it's like, sometimes it's like, it was like, oh, come on, like, do something, shoot lightning bolts. But it's like he just had this calmness, this balance, this peace, this peace about him, right? And it's the power of balance, because you can get too emotional and things, and so you need to just find that balance. and I think generally life balances itself, not our life, but I'm saying nature and so to get so upset or worried when something is swinging, it's gonna come back, like, and so you have like to waves. You have to trust in the balance. Trust the balance.
Trust the balance, and that's what you have to do.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Fights, when you're having, hopefully you're not having fights, but if you're in an argument, you should try to, not an argument, but really a debate or trying to get something through to somebody. You want to, if they are out of control, you want to be that. You want to have the balance. Yeah. What would a boxer be without balance?
Yeah, I was about to say. Now, real fights, okay, you got to keep that balance. You got to keep, some power on the right foot, and then when you punch, you're gonna transfer that weight from the back foot to the front foot. That way, you can knock out your opponent without losing your footing.
People who don't know about professional boxing think worse of it than it is. It's a very fair sport with points and a code of conduct. Yeah. I'm talking about boxing, not cage fighting. I don't know what's going on over there. But boxing itself, I had to learn it. It looks to me like you're just a free-for-all and you're just fighting, but...
Yeah, no, boxing is much more of a sport than people give it. Even like, yes, MMA is a sport, I'm not gonna... But that really is just like, let's just knock someone's block off. Where boxing is like... And that's what you see... People get mad at fighters like Mayweather and stuff, where the fighter enthusiasts like get so mad in so many of his fights. It's like, oh, you're running, like blah blah blah. You're like, give us a good fight, like just like you'll want some Mike Tyson just throwing these haymakers. But you know why Mayweather? It's because wins every fight. It's because he's so good at the sport of boxing. He gets his points. Right. Boom, he got a point. Backs up. His defense is crazy, and that's what's cool about boxing. It is so much more of a sport than just fighting. Right. But yeah, they need a lot of balance.
They need balance. Everybody needs physical balance, and everybody needs invisible balance. Yep. What do you do if you're off balance? Not physically, because I guess you'd need a cane, but what if you do if you're off balance spiritually?
In what way?
You are not spiritual, but you want to be, but you just can't work it in, or you just feel like it doesn't fit you.
Yeah, I think just do like. I think people need to just try, like, move slower, right? Like, I think everyone just tries to move so quick and like, I need to figure it out now, and it's like a diet. It's like a balanced diet where if you are eating or double stuffed Oreos all day long, and then someone's like, eat a balanced diet, and then they're like, where do I even begin? Exactly. What? All I know is Oreos and Diet Coke.
And they might think like, All I know is the stuff I like, which you're
Yeah.
telling me is bad for me.
Yeah.
And I think you're pushing me into kale,
Yeah. Exactly.
you know? And they don't know, like, no, you could have a delicious, you know, a delicious salmon filling dinner or something.
And I think there's two things that come with finding the balance in that. One is effort put out. Like, you need to try. Like, if you've literally never had anything but Oreos, like, you need to try a few things. But yeah, like, just trial and error. Like, and not overexerting yourself. Don't jump from Oreos and then start eating like just kale for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You'll just go back to your Oreos the next day.
Right.
But you can still have some Oreos here and there. But do some research, learn about some foods, and then maybe some of them might pique your interest. Like, wait, hold on, I do like salmon. Maybe I can and get with a side of potatoes. I like potatoes, and you try that. Not really. And I think the same thing is with spirituality. Yes. I'm not one to push any type of religion. I do push believing in a greater being. That's like my biggest thing. For just a like way of life, like I think it just as a human, not thinking that you're the most important thing.
Yeah.
And then it just helps. But like, I don't care, honestly. I don't care if you believe in Jesus or if you believe in even just like the universe. Like if you're into crystals, and I think it's good. Most important thing, I believe in Jesus, but I think just for people, it's important that they have a higher being that they believe in too.
To start there, you're not alone. You're not a floating leaf.
Exactly, because
start there.
It brings this peace and this sort of this balance into your life of this. It's a calming effect to like. It's literally like if there's a kid lost, and then you know it's the difference of that kid being lost in an amusement park, or if he has a figure. A parental figure is watching over him, and it's like you feel safe. You feel safe running at the park if you know someone's on the bench over there, making sure nobody abducts you. You don't feel as safe when you're by yourself.
Just drifting, and a lot of people do say that they feel they're drifting.
Yeah.
Out there.
And so, with that said, I think it's just important to, if you're spiritual, if you're living your life eating Oreos in a spiritual sense. Just try other things. Don't let someone else tell you.
Right.
Kale's what you have to eat if you want to have a balanced diet.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to get diabetes and die.
Right.
That's the equivalency of
right.
hell.
So in religion, if you don't get baptized this Wednesday night, and if you don't come back to me and tell me all the commandments, that's wrong. Yeah. Start. You know, if you were just going to start adding grapes or something to your thing. For religion, I said the other day that even myself, who grew up trained in prayer, it was hard for me to pray. So my suggestion is just the smallest little thing to add to your day. You could say, Jesus, and then something. You could say, Jesus, help me, or thank you, Jesus.
Or if you don't want to start even less, just God, like
God, yeah.
Or yeah, like because like I said,
or you could say, help me.
Yeah,
you know,
like I said,
heal me.
There's one main.
Hear me.
There's one like if you believe in one God, I think that's great. But if you do, that's like the main request of our Christian God. You know, the Jewish God. The Islamic God is just the belief in me, a one God.
Yes.
And so, I think if you're literally just start like wanting to become more a spiritual person,
just starting out,
it's just that the singular higher being praying. You know, like don't worry about anything else of any individual sect. You can get there,
right?
Like
to start out.
If you are eating only Oreos and you start, maybe in a year, you will be eating kale and quinoa, and you'll be loving it, and that's great. But you don't like if it's too much. If that's obviously too much to start, then just start with that one singular higher being God. Prayer, just directly you and Him. You don't even have to, you don't got to bring churches into it.
But you don't even have to have a lot of words into it.
Yeah,
you just have to you don't have to, but you could just say, "Hello, God."
What's up? What's poppin'?
No. You could say
No.
You're good. Hello, God, or I help me. Really, I mean, I always say help me, even though I've been praying all these years. I say, and people, kind of say it as a joke. You know what I mean? Jesus, take the wheel and stuff like that. But you literally can say, help me, Jesus. Or, sorry, if you want, we can start with God. Or whatever you want. The Lord, Yahweh, your angel. If you even want something more relatable or more, you could say, angels, I want a more spiritual life.
Mm-hmm.
And things will be revealed to you so that you can feel comfortable going in that direction, and it won't feel so alien, so unusual.
Yeah.
And then you just go to where it feels most comfortable.
Yeah. And like we said earlier, sometimes you might be craving a certain food, not realizing that it's given you, it's like what your body needs is like, oh wow, your body's really low on vitamin C. That's why you were craving oranges for some reason.
Right.
Or like you're craving watermelon, not realizing your body's dehydrated.
Right.
And so if you do have this feeling like this
Longing.
this longing of feeling a little lost, like feeling like you're searching for something, go after that feeling.
Right.
Like do some internal and external searching, and look for what will satiate that, and you might just find it.
Yes.
And then you'll have a balanced day, balanced
because
life.
You hear a lot about representation in media or advertising. So you'll hear a lot recently about body positivity or racial representation. And so you'll see more advertising, and you'll see, you used to see a certain look of what they consider to be an all-American guy or girl. And so many people couldn't relate to it.
Yeah.
And would say, well, I guess that's not for me. I guess those clothes aren't for me. I guess that shampoo is not for me. I guess that car is not for me. And so now they're doing a lot of, which is wonderful, a lot of representation, so people can see themselves and say, oh, maybe I could try that.
Yeah.
And I really feel that in Christianity, there's so many people that aren't represented. And so they feel, I don't belong over there.
Yeah. I think that's...
And this is why we started it.
Yeah. This is why we started the whole podcast. But I spoke about it briefly in the Bashing of Catholics episode. Of just this, what you said is that Christianity should be, I think, so much more simple than it is, you know? And it gets so muddied in different like parts of different parts of religions, of like types. And it turns people off from Christianity, which is really sad, because Christianity as a basis is so simple, and I feel like it would open up the door for a lot more people than certain churches do, because it's like, oh God, I'm not wanted here. It's like, Jesus didn't ask for much. Like he was pretty straightforward on what it meant to be a good Christian. Right. And I think that's the important thing to take away. It's who I listen to. I tell you something, like why I read the Bible. I was being preached to by so many different people of so many different churches, and I'm like, they're telling me things of a book I'd never read. The one preacher's, if you will, words I too take is Jesus's, and he would kept it simple. He said, love your neighbor, love yourself, love God, and that's it. Right. And then you did it. What would Jesus do? Right. It's quite simple what he would do. In 99.9% of situations, if you just really ask yourself, what would Jesus do? It's easy. Right. It's easy to be a Christian. Right. By definition, by just take away all of the externals. It's easy, and it's easy to follow, and it's rewarding. Right. It gives you a reward in life, a happy life. Everything's good, and
it's really comforting.
Yeah.
And so many people need comfort.
Yeah.
And so many people feel alone, and it's not the answer to so, mental illness. It's not the answer to how you're going to pay your bill. But it is, you're not alone.
Yeah.
Okay? You're not alone even if you don't acknowledge him.
Yeah.
But when you do acknowledge him, it's so much better.
Yeah.
We don't have a church. We're not trying to sell anybody on like our doctrine.
No.
This is what Christianity is. So if you don't see yourself in Christians you see on YouTube or Christians you see on the TV or, on the internet, and you say like, that's so not me. It's like not liking country western music because you think like, well, I'm not going to wear cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, and those are not my people.
Yeah.
Christianity, you probably okay, if you're watching us and following us, it's probably because you haven't seen yourself represented in the Christians that are out there,
or just because you like to look at good looking guys for 45 minutes.
But guy. But
guy. Yeah, I love guys.
We're Christian. Okay? We're Christian. We're not perfect. We're not judgmental.
Christian by definition.
Yeah. And there are so many things in our life that are aggravating and disappointing and everything, but it helps us, and we're happy being Christian. And we're so happy being Christian that we want to just tell people out there that we feel Christians have been painted with one brush, and it's not balanced. It's not
balanced. Drop them, throw the mic.
Throw the mic off the screen.
But yeah, I think that summed it up. It was a nice little rundown. But it's just remember, live a good life, live a good, balanced life, and you will be happy, and we'll be happy. Alright guys, we started late, which means it's past my bedtime. So I am going to sign off, but we'll be back. What day is today?
Tomorrow's Friday the 13th.
So that's when this is going up. So we'll be back on Monday.
Trying to do it and I couldn't.
Monday the 16th. All right, so enjoy your weekend. Get some balance in your life.
Yeah.
Be spiritual. Hopefully, who knows when, but hopefully I'll be dropping the first van video sometime next week. That'd be ideal. If it doesn't happen, it's because it didn't balance in my life. I couldn't balance the books. All right, y'all. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, call your grandmother, tell her to like and subscribe, and share.
Yeah, why not?
All right, y'all. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been balanced. Peace.